Hey class, welcome to week 8, and here we are halfway through the semester. I hope you're enjoying the class. I hope it's I hope it's what you expected and that you're getting something out of it. I am enjoying teaching it. As I mentioned to some of you, it's my first time teaching this course, and it's gone better than I thought it would, to be honest. Not that I thought it was going to go bad, but uh, faculty are a little nervous sometimes teaching a course for the first time, not knowing what to expect. But you guys have been a really good group, so I appreciate you guys being excellent students. So there's my thank you to you for the day. This week is week 8. We are focused on housing this week. Residential services are near and dear to my heart. It's where I got my start in my career, and I got a lot of love for residential. If you think about a person that's getting a million services, right? 10 fingers, 10 services, right? They have a psychiatrist, medical doctor, maybe some kind of specialty doctor. They got a therapist. They might have a job coach. They might have a partial care provider. They might be part of some kind of support group. They may be part of some other exercise group. They might have religious affiliations, financial obligation, infinite affiliations. That's 10 things. um, Social Security, they're going to have some kind of contact person. They got all of this giant web of services. Somebody has to coordinate them all. Somebody's got to take the lead. And a lot of times, if the person has a residential provider, if they're affiliated in all, whether it be supported housing or they live in a group home, whatever, that agency often ends up being the default provider, the coordinator of all the services, if the person themselves is not able to coordinate all of that stuff. And probably isn't easy, right? So that's my little spin today on housing. Read through the chapters this week in the online book, get a sense of the different options that are out there. Some of the options that we list this week are treatment based, and some are not. You're going to get very few services in a homeless shelter, but you will get some, right? So this week, let me just talk about a few housekeeping items too. So your agency visit paper is due on Sunday, at the end of the day this week, November 1st. Upload it to the proper assignment box for this week that says, I believe, agency visit paper, upload here or something like that. There are a couple of you guys still that have not done your visit, I know, because you're talking to me about still where you're going to go. I know some people had some trouble with getting appointments and getting people to call them back. And I apologize, such is the nature of community mental health services. I, in some cases, made the general suggestion, if you're having troubles getting an appointment to meet with somebody, to try and think about services in your community that would have somebody there most of the time, like on a 9 to 5 schedule, but may not be super busy all of the time. So, like one person I just said emailed, I sent them a list of homeless shelters actually, because we were just talking about them, and said, this might be a place where, yeah, they're going to be busy, but they're going to have their busy hours, and then there's probably going to be hours of the day where there's a good deal of downtime, and that might be a good place to go to talk to somebody about the services they provide and who's eligible, and kind of get the details that you need to complete that paper, and not have to worry about getting an appointment 3 weeks in advance. So hopefully you guys can pull it together, and for the others that are sending me emails, I've been getting them. Thank you for those. Let's talk about your family project real quick. So just so everyone's aware, I did get an email about what the format for this week is. It is the same format that you've been doing for the last 2 weeks, which is there should be 4 groups. You'll each post individually in your kind of group thread, and then this is kind of where you should be thinking about these group post weeks, like you're preparing for the final project. So you're going to have to talk about all of these elements in a little more detail when you present your final project together as a group. So this is where you start to hash out, all right, this person's going to need this, and we can speculate that this person might need this. Speculation is okay. And that way it's going to make less work later on when you are kind of pulling all this stuff together during finals slash, towards the end of the semester exam time. And also the thing I had added at the end of the topic last week was actually made a post about it. To pick a county, assign your family a county that they are living in, and a town if need be. So if you put, if they're in Essex County and they're living in Newark, the services that they get, some are going to be, there's only one service per county, but as you're learning, there are some that have multiple services throughout the county. So a person in Newark might be eligible for certain services. Well, it's not even eligible, just be might easier to get to them. Whereas somebody on the other side of Essex County, say Fairfield, would some places, they would all go to the same place, and some there would be other types of the same service in a different part of the county. So in this term, Western Essex County might have some options closer to them, so that they wouldn't have to go all the way to the other side of the county. So that's a note on the family project. And then the last thing is just the quiz for this past week, quiz 3. Just kind of took a look, and people did seem to do fairly well. If anyone had trouble accessing the quiz, let me know. I really tried to make it easier in terms of giving people an extra 24 hours to open it and take the quiz. But I wondered if anyone had any trouble with the way the quiz recorded their answers. I had one person that reported that. I just wanted to see if anyone else had any issues. It didn't seem like it based on the grades. Seemed like people, for the most part, did fairly well. There was one question that stood out that people struggled with. So let me just read it real quick. It was about PAAD or PAD. The question is, all of the following are true about PAD except A, it covers 100% of the med costs. B, must be 65 or older to receive disability, must be 65 years or older or receive disability benefits. C, it is a means-tested program. D, you must be a resident. And so if you remember from what we studied that week on PAD, you do have to be a New Jersey resident. You do have to be 65 or older or receiving disability services. Let me just go back. Yeah, it must be 65 or receiving disability benefits. It is a means-tested program. If you remember from the last quiz, we talked about what means-tested means, meaning that you have to demonstrate that you are below a certain, in this case, income eligibility. They have an income eligibility in a sense. So that only leaves the last option, which is option A. It covers 100% of medication costs. So that is the one that is not true. PAD has a copay. $5, I believe, for generics and $7 for brand name. So otherwise, people did pretty good. If you have any individual questions about the quiz, send me an email. I look forward to reading your papers and grading some forums in the next week. So send them on in. Let me know if you have any questions. I will see you next week. Take care.